أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم मेरा नाम हामिद अगर अल्लाह वाला और मेरे हमसे संगत के बारे में फाउंडेशन और का स्टूडेंट हो जैसे कि तुमने भी अदा करेंगे यस नहीं माया के साथ आते हैं पे नहीं माया के साथ स्टार्ट
Hey there. What's up?
my first question is what is the meaning of the word sorry.
The short version? It's basically an admission of regret or a way to apologize when you've messed up. But it's interesting because we use it for everything from accidentally stepping on someone's toe to feeling bad about a tragedy we have nothing to do with. Which one are you thinking of?
Okay, my next question is where did the word sorry originate from?
Let me look that up. It actually comes from an Old English words, sarig, which meant being distressed or full of sorrow. It's closely related to the word sore and comes from a Proto Germanic root meaning painful. Interestingly, the spelling changed over time because of the word sorrow, even though they aren't actually related. Ever heard of a word that totally changed its meaning over time?
Okay, my next question is where do people apologize?
For the official app, people can find it through the App Store for the iOS preview via test flight. There's a research preview on the website too. Have you been using the site or the app?
Okay, my next question
Got it.
is how does saying sorry help relationships?
That's a bit of a puzzle. Do you mean a sanctuary as in a place like a wildlife rescue or something else?
Okay, my next question is why do people how does saying sorry help relationships?
Oh, I see what you're asking now. It's kind of like a social reset button. When things get tense, a sincere apology acknowledges the other person's feelings, which usually lowers the guard and lets you start rebuilding trust. It's less about the word itself and more about the bridge it builds between two people.
Okay, my next question is what emotions are connected with the apologies?
It's a whole spectrum. On one end, you've got the heavy stuff, guilt, shame, or genuine remorse. But it can also come from a place of empathy, where you're just sorry someone else is hurting, even if you didn't cause it. Then there's the word side, like embarrassment or just a desire to keep the peace. Which of those feels the most powerful to you?
Okay, my next question is where is applauding considered polity?
I'm a bit lost on that one. Are you talking about a specific concert or maybe uploading a video of one?
Okay, my next question is what is the history behind the word sorry?
We actually just touched on this, but let me give you a bit more detail. Since we talked about Zarig and that painful root, the interesting part is how it evolved from just feeling bad to actually being used as a formal apology. That shift didn't really solidify until the 1800s. Before that, you'd be more likely to describe yourself as sorry to mean you were grieving rather than asking for forgiveness.
Okay, my next question is how has the meaning of sorry changed over time?
Wait, did you mean sorry again, or are we switching to story?
Okay, my next question is why do children learn to say sorry at a young age?
Usually through a mix of imitation and feedback. They watch their parents or teachers apologize, and then they get that positive reinforcement when they do it themselves. Basically, social training in real time. Do you think they're usually sincere when they're little?
Okay, my next question is can I ask simple apology? Sorry, where do children learn to say sorry? Sorry. I'm sorry. Can I simple apology help emotional pain?
Well, slow down a second. You've got a lot on your mind. When you say upload your health emotional pain, what exactly do you mean by that?
Okay, what make an apology sense?
I'm really struggling to follow you here. Upload sensor isn't really a thing I'm familiar with. Are you talking about a piece of tech or maybe something more like a feeling?
Okay, why do some people avoid apologizing?
Still a bit stuck on the uploading part. Are you talking about uploading files to a computer, or is this metaphor for something else?
How do different cultures express apologies?
It varies a ton. In some places, like Japan, an apology is more about restoring social harmony than admitting a specific mistake. In other cultures, it's much more direct and centered on personal responsibility. Some people might not even use a word for sorry, but will instead use a gesture or a specific act of kindness to make things right. Ever noticed how a simple nod or a bow can say a lot more than words?
Okay, my next question is saying sorry always necessary?
I'm not entirely sure I follow. Do you mean if saying sorry always fixes things or something else?
My network is issue and again start the map.
What's up?
And my question is what happens how when someone refuses to apologize?
I'm still a little stuck on the uploading part. Are you talking about a file, a piece of software, or maybe something more personal?
Okay, my next question is can apologies reduce trust?
I think you mean if apologies can restore trust. They definitely can, but it usually takes a bit more than just the words. It's about showing that you actually understand why the other person is hurt. Do you feel like a sorry is usually enough to fix things?
Okay, my next question is what is the difference between reject and apology?
They're basically opposites in terms of how they affect a relationship. An apology is an attempt to bridge a gap and make things right, while a rejection is more like closing a door. One is about coming together, and the other is about pushing away. Does that make sense?
Okay, my next question is
I'm
why
listening.
do people feel quality after mistakes?
I'm sorry, I'm not following you there. Who is Mr. Agram, and what do you mean by feeling quality?
Okay, my next question is where do people feel quality after mistakes?
I'm guessing you mean guilt instead of quality. That feeling usually hits when our actions don't line up with who we want to be. It's like an internal alarm telling us we messed up. Do you think guilt is actually useful or just stressful?
Okay, my next question is how can tone of voice affect an apology?
I assume you mean tone of voice. It can totally change everything. A sorry said with a genuine soft tone feels like a bridge, but If it's said with a sharp or bored tone, it can actually make things worse, like it's just a formality. The tone tells the other person if you're actually sorry or if you're just trying to get them to stop being mad.
Okay, my next question is what body language shows sensitivity in applauding?
Mm, I'm still hitting a wall with the uploading part. Um, are you using that word to describe opening up to someone or maybe sharing a secret? I'm just trying to make sure I'm on the same page.
Okay, my next question is why is honesty important in an apology?
The honey syrup? I'm not familiar with that phrase. Do you mean a specific way of speaking or maybe something like keeping a conversation sweet and smooth?
Okay, my next question is why is honesty important in an apology?
Absolutely. Without honesty, an apology is just words. If the other person can tell you're not being real, it can actually damage the trust even more than the original mistake did. It's the difference between checking a box and actually caring. Do you think it's possible to be too honest in an apology?
Okay, my next question is can over how is honesty important in an apology? Can over saying sorry reduce its value?
I'm a bit lost on the first part. What's an esteem portal? As for the second part, yeah, saying it too often can definitely water it down. Becomes more of a habit than a heartfelt expression. If sorry is the default response for everything, it starts to lose its weight. Do you find yourself saying it just to keep the peace?
Okay, my next question is where do some
I'm,
people apologize even when it's not their fault?
I'm all ears. That happens a lot. Sometimes people do it to keep the peace or because they're just naturally empathetic and hate seeing someone else upset, even if they didn't cause it. Other times it's a bit of a defense mechanism, just diffusing the tension before it can escalate. Do you do that often?
Okay, my next question is what role does the empathy play in apologizing?
I think you mean apologizing. Empathy is basically the fuel for a real apology. It's what allows you to actually feel a version of the other person's pain, which makes the sorry feel earned. Without it, you're just reciting a script. Do you think it's easier to apologize when you can actually feel what the other person is going through?
Okay, my next question how does society teach people about apologies?
That's an interesting angle. I'm wondering if you mean society instead of security. Because if so, it's kind of like a hidden curriculum. We learn from our parents, our teachers, and even the movies we watch about when an apology is expected and what counts as a sincere one. It's how we're taught the rules of social harmony. Does that sound like what you were asking?
Okay, my next question is what is the public apology?
A public apology is when someone admits a mistake in front of a crowd, usually through a press release, a video, or social media. It's a lot different from a private one because it's not just about fixing a relationship with one person, it's about managing a reputation and trying to regain the trust of the public. Do you think those usually feel sincere or just like a PR move?
Okay, my next question is what do celebrities make public apologies?
I'm not entirely sure I follow. Do you mean what makes a public apology successful, or maybe why people choose to make them public instead of keeping it private?
Okay, my next question is where do can written apologies be effective?
They can be huge, especially when emotions are running too high for a face to face talk, or if you need time to carefully pick your words so you don't make things worse. It gives the other person space to process it on their own time, too. Them?
Okay, my next question is what are common apology phrases around the world?
I'm guessing you mean CISAs in cultures or societies. It's fascinating because some cultures prioritize the individual's mistake while others focus more on the social harmony of the group. In Japan, for example, a beo can be a powerful apology without a single word spoken. In more direct cultures, like in the US, you're usually expected to be very explicit about what you did wrong. Do any of those styles resonate with you?
Okay, my next question is how do apologies affect mental health?
I'm still really trying to get my head around this uploading word you're using. If you mean opening up or apologizing, it can be a massive relief. Getting things off your chest usually lowers stress and stops that guilt from looping in your head. But if the apology isn't accepted, it can feel pretty heavy. Does that feel accurate to what you're thinking?
Okay, my next question is what is forgiven connected to apology?
They're like two halves of a whole. An apology is the request for forgiveness, and forgiveness is the response that actually closes the wound. You can apologize and not be forgiven, or someone can forgive you without you even asking. But when both happen, that's where the real healing starts. Do you think it's possible to forgive someone who never says they're sorry?
Okay, my next question is what is the biological effect of hearing sorry?
Um, I'm guessing you mean saying sorry? It's wild how much is happening in our brains during that. Um, when we apologize, our stress levels usually drop, and if the other person accepts it, the brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which helps rebuild that connection. It's basically our biology trying to pull us back together after conflict. Do you think that physical feeling of relief is what makes us want to apologize?
Okay, my next question is what is sorry can an
Are we
apology change someone as someone's options?
It can, for sure. If it's genuine and shows you actually get why they're upset, it can shift how they see you from the person who messed up back to someone they trust. But it's